Vanakkam, Namaste or Sitaram, and welcome to the third installation of this series, Drink and Smoke. In this, we are going to answer what it is meant by offering drink and smoke. What we call it here in Trinidad, an offering of drink and smoke, that some people call it. It is the offering of alcoholic beverages, alcohol-based beverages, and offering other items that could be ingested, right, or consumed by smoking. Now, those in Guyana and so forth would more or less have another name for it. I'm not too sure of the name of it, but they will have a different terminology for it. Those which would be similar to what would more or less be mentioned in Tamil or South India. We locally call it either Tarapan, offering Tarapan, right, or offering drink and smoke, right. So you have that. There are different variations of it also. So you may see people offer different things. You will see people offer white rum, right? We in Trinidad offer puncheon, right? You will see other aspects of those, like those in Guyana and so forth, would offer different things. You may even see people offer red rum. You will see even people also offer vodka. Now, vodka in itself is a little tricky, because you're looking for something that is more, more or less, how should I say, organically fermented in this aspect, or more or less created, right, than where you have to introduce different bacteria or whatever to create the alcohol. So there is a debate on that, and I don't really necessarily get into that aspect. I respect if people are offering the vodka, go ahead. Right, that's their belief. They know what they've been doing. Nothing has happened since they've been doing it. Fine. So you will see people offer different types of alcohol also. Is there more or less one main particular type? We will look into that. We will go as far to see what was offered and how do we get the amendment, or the, where do we get to reach the point where we are offering what we offer here in Trinidad. What was offered in the old days to where now we are offering what we have? Is it that we couldn't more or less acquire it? Right? Was it something that was banned and outlawed in this sense? Right? And we will see where we reach to our aspect, our shores, where we offer what we normally offer, what would be the puncheon and the Broadway. So it have that in particular, which we're looking to those particular things. Right? So many people have stated, I've seen many people have tried to debunk it, stating that these particular aspects are non-agamic and non-Vedic, right? And they would more or less look towards South India aspect of worship, where there's not much doctrines in an aspect, so we rely on folklore, folk art and folk songs to understand what was done and so forth, how we did the worship, whatever, to piece the puzzle together. Yes, they are now in modern time where we have more knowledge coming out due to technology and Google, however, we have more information coming because information is being gathered, right, and so forth. But back in 15, 20 years back, we had to rely on folklore, folk arts and so forth, and traditions of the ancestors or forefathers, to understand what, how, when and why, and to carry on the legacy of it. And I understand where they will make that particular claim. But for those who have not gone as far or researched as far, right, it is recorded within the Vedas. The Vedas do have recorded aspects of more or less fermented items or alcohol-based items being offered to what we may consider sattvic devatas. Just like when we did the Balidan series, we saw in the different Purans where we saw in the Rig Veda where different animals via Vedic rituals, I should be going and say, in the Rig Veda via Vedic rituals, we saw different animals would be offered to different devatas, from Agni, Varun, Indra Dev and so forth, for progeny, business, for Havanaki and a consort. We see these particular things being done and recorded. We go into the different Ramayans, the Valmiki, the Anand Ramayana, we see where it is mentioned also. So the aspect of offering fermented items or alcoholic items is the same. It is there and recorded, and we will go into those aspects, those doctrines, to see where it was and what was mentioned. If you're not acquainted with certain rituals that they may mention and not realize that within that particular ritual, right, I think one would be the Rajasuya, right, Rajasuya Yajna, which does have the Soma Yagya in it. It is acquainted with it, and the Soma Yagya is the offering of fermented base alcohol beverages to certain devatas and things, as in Agni and Indradeva and so on. So it is there. So if you're not acquainted and do not know the different yagyas that is recorded in these different Vedas or the different Purans or the different Ramayans, you will not realize that they were done. Right? Are they done now? No, they're not done now, because as time has changed, Vedic rituals was amended and certain things was pulled out to be more sattvic of nature. And no disrespect to those of Vaishnava aspect who follow that strict law of going pure sattvic. But we see in different Purans, we will see in different Agamas, different Tantras, where it is also mentioned. So it is not something that is taboo, it is not something that is unheard of, it is not something that is only allocated with one aspect of worship within Hinduism, which most people tend to tie into the Mariamma worship or the Devi / Shakti / Kali worship. It was there, but it was changed, it was amended, because you would have had certain sages and gurus as time progressed, changing and altering these things to be more sattvic of nature, what we would have called going into more or less mainstream Hinduism. We see this happening with Adi Shankara and so forth, and the Buddha when they were altering and changing that aspect of the Balidan to not do any killing within certain pujas, and they were able to do that to some extent. This is where we got the introduction, and we got the aspect of offering coconuts and so forth, where the coconut is being offered, green and dry, the green and dry coconut. So we see those changes. So they were there. But as I said again, in the Vedas, when we go into history, these things of offering alcohol-based items was there. It was part of Vedic rituals. Would they change? Yes, they would change. But there are certain different aspects of Hinduism that still maintain it, which would be Devi worship, which would be Mariamma worship. But within those worship, you have two different sectors also. You have those that go the sattvic route, that are only more or less fruits and sweets and so forth, and then you have those of the Balidan aspect that will offer those particular items. So you have that in particular nature, and we will look into all those different things, right? So it is not just tied to something that is not recorded and it doesn't have any proof on whatever and so forth, and it's just more or less people saying whatever, people just saying out of their mouth. No, they are recorded aspect. Yes, to the wish to defend the folklore act, the folk songs and the folk arts, yes, because of where the Tamil worship was not more or less recorded and has much recordings and doctrines to support it. We had to rely on our ancestors and the songs and all these different to more or less piece the puzzle to how to carry the legacy of what we know as Mariamma worship, and what is also partly known as Shakti worship, because it has that aspect in it too. Devi worship has that aspect of Tamil worship mixed into it also, where these things are given. So please join me in the other videos to come, where we will break it down more now. We will start going to the different doctrines to see where all these things about drink and smoke was mentioned. Alright? Jai Sitaram.